Arav noticed Mira for the first time in a small public library where the world seemed to slow down. She always sat near the window, sunlight touching her hair as if it belonged there. She read like she was escaping something, like the pages were a safer place than reality. He never spoke to her for weeks. Love sometimes learns patience before courage. One rainy evening, the power went out. Darkness filled the library, and someone laughed softly. "That's the universe telling us to rest our eyes," Mira said. That was the first sentence she ever spoke to him. From that moment, silence turned into conversations, and conversations turned into comfort. They talked about dreams that felt too big, fears they never shared with anyone, and the strange feeling that they had known each other long before life introduced them. Love didn't rush them. It settled gently, like dust motes dancing in the afternoon sun. They began meeting every day, tea after sunset, walks without destinations, smiles without reasons. Arav wrote poetry. Mira believed in it. Mira painted. Arav saw his future in her colors. It was a language only they understood, a world built just for two. "I don't know when," Mira once whispered, her voice barely audible over the rustling leaves. "But I think I've already fallen for you." Arav smiled, a warmth spreading through his chest. "I think I fell the day I stopped noticing the world without you. But happiness never warns you before it leaves." One evening, Mira didn't come. The next day, Arav found her sitting alone on a park bench, her eyes swollen, her hands trembling. "I'm leaving," she said, and the words hit harder than any betrayal. "My family, they've arranged my marriage. I leave in 2 weeks." Arav, laughter hollow, broken sound, not because it was funny, but because pain sometimes pretends to be humor. "You're joking." "I wish I was," she replied, fresh tears tracing paths down her cheeks. "I tried. I fought, but some battles are fought long before we're born," he begged. He reasoned. He promised a future he was willing to build with his bare hands. But love sometimes isn't enough against a fate that's dressed as duty. On her last day, they met at the same library, their sacred space. "If this is goodbye," Arav said, his voice breaking, "tell me one thing. Was I real to you?" Mira held his face, pressing her forehead to his, a final, desperate connection. "You were my only truth." She left. And with her, the world lost its color. Years passed. Arav became a successful author, his name known, his words praised. But he was empty. His smiles became habits, practiced and hollow. Love became a memory he refused to replace. He never married. He never explained why. Some nights he would read old poems written in her name. Some nights he would hate love for having the audacity to survive inside him. Meanwhile, Mira lived a life she didn't choose. Her husband was a kind man, but distant, a stranger she shared a home with. She smiled perfectly in photographs, but cried silently in bathrooms. She kept Arav's last letter hidden in a book no one ever touched, a fragile relic of a life she almost had. Time didn't heal them. It only taught them how to live with the broken pieces. 10 years later, Arav received an invitation to a literary event in another city. He was tired of these things, but reluctantly, he went. As he stood on stage, reading a poem he'd titled "Human Dies, Love Never," his voice shook with an emotion he thought he'd buried. And then he saw her, Mira. She was sitting in the last row, tears streaming freely down her face, her hands covering her mouth in a silent gasp. The world stopped breathing. Everything and everyone else faded into a blur. For a moment, it was just them again, back in that quiet library, two souls recognizing each other across an impossible distance. After the event, she waited for him by the exit, just as the crowd began to thin. "I didn't know it was you," she said, her voice a mix of awe and sorrow. "I knew the moment you cried," Arav replied, his heart aching with a decade of unspoken words. They sat at a nearby cafe, like strangers with profoundly familiar souls. The silence between them wasn't empty. It was filled with 10 years of questions, regrets, and what-ifs. "I'm divorced," Mira confessed softly, her gaze fixed on her hands. "I lost myself trying to be someone else for so long." Arav closed his eyes, a wave of relief and pain washing over him. "I never stopped loving you." Mira took a deep, shaky breath. "There's something you don't know," she said, finally looking at him. "My father was sick back then. Very sick. The marriage, it wasn't just about tradition. It was about survival. His company was failing, and this alliance was the only way to get him the money for the treatment he needed. I chose his life over my happiness." The anger Arav had held onto for a decade dissolved into a profound, heart-wrenching sorrow. "You should have told me. I was afraid you'd ask me to fight," she whispered, her voice cracking, "and I was already so tired of losing." Silence followed, not awkward, but heavy with understanding. They didn't rush. Love this time was careful, wise, and scarred. They met again. They talked again. They began the slow, painful process of healing, of forgiving not just each other, but life itself for the cruel hand it had dealt them. One evening, they found themselves back in the same old library, now renovated but still familiar, its soul intact. Arav took Mira's hand, its warmth a comfort he had missed for a lifetime. "Life took everything from us once," he said softly, "but it gave us time again." Mira smiled, and for the first time in years, it reached her eyes, which glistened with tears of a different kind. "Maybe love doesn't come to stay forever," she whispered. "Maybe it leaves, just to prove that it can return." Years later, people who saw them together would say they were lucky, but only they knew wasn't luck. It was love that simply refused to die. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the depths of human connection. See you next time.